When I started playing World of Warcraft back in 2005, I was simply in awe from the sheer size of the world before me, the countless adventures I could take on my multiple chars, and the promise of an endless epic journey. I soon realized that certain classes were a pain to level. It took me, I believe, at least 4 or 5 months to eventually cap my paladin, and also that endgame content meant serious dedication, and a good friend in a guild if you wanted to raid in any capacity. I loved the game and spent hundreds of hours in Azeroth, yet many aspects of WoW left a bad taste in my mouth. When the Burning Crusade launched, my fears became reality. Whatever little progress I managed to achieve, because of my real-life commitments, was immediately wiped out by the new expansion. Yes, most of my main tunes issues were solved, from spellbook to gear options, but I got right away the feeling that such a way of adding content wouldn't bode well in the future. And oh boy, was I right. The game wasn't as much as expanded as it was patched, with the new zones and quests rendering anything done prior basically pointless, while at the same time making leveling even more of a pain in the ass, if endgame was all you craved for. The sensation was further confirmed by future expansions, and why I liked many of them. God knows how much I loved Wrath's dungeons, Pandaria's raids and Legion's artifacts. I knew they were making the elephant in the room ever more visible, and uncontainable. New players were treated to a broken and growingly boring leveling experience, while gigabytes of older content were made essentially meaningless, that is, unless one was into farming mounts and other vanity items. And that's a pity. The above is why I was hopeful for a renewed chance at making things right with Classic, and I looked forward to the promise of an improved vanilla experience. Obviously I was wrong, and the public called in a loud voice for the closest thing to the original experience, which was certainly successful but also another wasted chance at making the game truly great. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying Classic now almost as much as I enjoyed vanilla, and you want to know why? Because I'm no longer experiencing FOMO. The game isn't going anywhere, and when I'll hit max level I know I'll still be able to find a guild or a pug doing Molten Core, Onyxia, etc. I'm leveling multiple alts at the same time in Classic era, waiting for rested XP and world buffs to boost my efficiency. Essentially I'm doing what I couldn't do 20 years ago, because back then, getting to the end game with a main was paramount. I haven't touched retail in months, mind you. Not even the trading post can make me log in, especially after time rifts proved to be the nth obnoxious treadmill. Now is the time for a Classic Plus experience, and I really hope the latest talks and leaks can prove me right. 2 are the pillars of a renewed vanilla World of Warcraft, allowing players to tackle things at their own pace, and continuously expanding the world. How can devs achieve that? First, by keeping 60 as the max level, period. Any progression past that must be in large part horizontal. Second, by adding content to the world to make it bigger, richer, and capable of providing a lot of options. There isn't much to say about the first point, other than that there are many ways in which tunes can progress by being given more options, rather than more power. There are several games out there to take inspiration from. Raids and gear, for example, can be designed to be divided into different themes, each with a small number of tiers, 2 or 3 at most. The gear coming from the tiers of each theme will be comparable in power to that from another theme, with things like resistance to a specific school of magic being the main discriminating factor. On the other side, some raids may be magic agnostic, and others yet may vary in group size, working as intermediate steps in the gearing progression or simply providing options for casuals. Certain gear may even be limited to work only in the group of raids it is sourced from, but any gear will work in the open world. Do you want to rush to the latest added content? Go ahead. Your guild wants to slay the Lich King before moving to another thematic content? Take your time. In a way, The same could be said about the second point, expanding the world. It's all about making the world bigger, while giving players the chance to play at their own pace, to find like-minded individuals to share their journey with, and ultimately to respect their time. While you are doing what you want, when you want, and for how long as you want, the world around you will get better, bigger, and richer in options. I apologize for the rant, and for talking about stuff on a very general or even shallow level, but I want to stress the importance a game like Classic Plus could have for the genre. Classic provides a challenge that is difficult but not complex, that is dangerous because our tunes are so much more limited. Let's expand both group and solo outdoor content. From one side, for example, by turning elite mobs areas into non-instance dungeons. From another, by creating situations which players have to devise the best solution for, if and what to pull, when to fight or flee, how to make use of the terrain, etc. There's a lot to do, yet a huge amount of assets is readily available to improve the classic experience. Let's hope devs will listen this time. Cheers!